these other guys, like fighting to get to that spot. And it's not just like, oh, some random team that your region represents. This is like, it's like the Olympic team, but in your own area. And I told you, Dan, I was going to be on that roster next year, and then I made it. And I was extremely proud of that. Got to represent as a sophomore. I was the youngest on the team at the time. And then over the next couple of years, I got to make it as well. And it set me up for so much more success because it gave me a lot of confidence. It gave me my first opportunity to compete on a podium stage. And it was really incredible to just see, how higher level gymnastics works in that sort of capacity.
When you get to a meet, how do you replace feelings of anxiousness with feelings of confidence and motivate yourself in a positive way as opposed to a deconstructive way?
So I don't think that you can motivate yourself in the moment of the meet. I think that you need to be so prepared and so confident in your training that there are no feelings of nervousness when you get there. Maybe like a little bit for a pommel horse routine, but beyond that, you should be nice and like calm and collected because you've been doing routines for so long. You've hit all your sets in the gym. And if you're nervous, it might be a sign that you need to downgrade. And you know what? That's okay. I personally this year, I competed sets that were well below what I could have done, but often I would score a lot higher because of better execution or because I was a lot less nervous to actually compete those skills. So it all comes down to your preparation. And instead of, coming into a meet and feeling the nerves and feeling the pressure, just know that what you've done leading up to it, it should be no problem to hit the sets that you have.
Do you find in any way that the region elite team cup and those experiences with the team are going to relate to you competing at Penn State? And do you think it's going to make for a better and easier transition?
100%. The elite team is pretty much like college light the way I see it. Because it's, depending on which year we were going, it was 6 up 5 count or 5 up 4 count, which is exactly how you're going to see it in a college meet. You have to pick a lineup. You have to make your lineup, and then you have to deliver on your event. And the event order matters even. If you want to be a leadoff guy and get, good ball rolling for the rest of your team, or be the anchor so you can, make sure you end on a good hit. Those both matter in the elite team a lot, and they matter in college a lot. And those are some of the most important things. And I think it's really great that they could format the elite team the way they do to sort of emulate college gymnastics.
So can you relate the elite team championship to the experience that you had in Hungary? That was even higher pressure than competing at the elite team championship. I mean, I thought the team was pretty good, and you land your routine at the Junior World Championships. I think it was the first time that they'd ever held that event. Can you just describe the feelings of success that you had and what it felt like to be in Hungary competing with the United States team and for the United States?
There was absolutely no greater honor than I've ever had. Like, leading up to that, pretty much that whole season, I'd been doing pretty horrible, to be quite honest. But gymnastics is all about showing up when it counts. Then I went to nationals and did a really good job, made it to the world camp, hit 6x6, and that was really important to them to see consistency. So I got picked to go to Hungary, even though I'd never been on national team or anything before. And it was just absolutely surreal. I remember when they first called it out, like Levon and I just, shared a moment. It was incredible. And then, leading up to that, the preparation was absolutely grueling, horrendously hard. Like my body was absolutely destroyed every day. And it was really, really tough, to do all the routines. And then even though Levon didn't want to push me too hard, it was really, really difficult, especially, trying to learn second vault and all that for vault finals. But when I got there, it absolutely paid off. I mean, we were there for 2 weeks. I was doing 2 on 6 even the week before while we were in Hungary, like the day after we got off the plane. And even that, another grueling task, but it was absolutely worth it. We got to see all these other countries, which was incredible. We got to, meet the Japanese guys who are ridiculously good, also hilarious dudes. Got my Japanese shirt on right now. I got to meet, all like the really famous guys you hear about, like Felix Dolce from Canada. You see these guys and you're like, oh my God, they're insane. And then, you get to actually talk to them, and they're pretty normal guys. So, they're going through what we're also going through, which is the rigorous training. We all got the same mental struggles, same physical struggles. And then actually when we got to the competition, it was incredible, absolutely amazing. Pretty much the only time I was really nervous was on pommel horse, where I was last up. Isaiah had fallen and he was first up, and then the whole arena was empty. No, the stands were there, they were full, and then everyone else was done competing. So I was the only one competing in the arena. So everyone was watching my little baby pommel horse routine. But I got up and I hit it, and all the nerves for every other event just faded away. I was like, I'm ready to go. I showed that I have the consistency and, you know, the ice in the veins to hit the pommel set, and that was all I needed. That was the confidence I needed to just head into the next 5 events. So we got to do a floor on the last event. Isaiah had been struggling pretty much the whole meet, and then I went up. I was first up. You know, went up, did the best floor routine of my whole life, stuck the triple full at the end, and that was just just a feeling of euphoria I don't know if I'll ever get to experience again. Because it was not necessarily about, oh, I'm going to make floor finals. It was, I just did the best set of my life to lead off the team and to help us, you know, get into a better position. So it was more about the feeling of a team, the atmosphere of, you know, being of a greater purpose than just yourself, which I got the same feeling from the elite team, because it's the same thing, maybe on a smaller scale, but it's the same intensity within your mind, which is a really great thing.
What do you think about your preparation and the importance of, say, for instance, good core routines and good basics and things like that in your own gymnastics?
So I started off Future Stars when I lived in Connecticut, and while I could kind of get by just on like some talent and like barely scrape by to get into nationals, I'd usually end up around last place, which, you know, that's just how it goes. But then I got to Levon. He taught me, like, you know, how to actually do basics correctly and how to execute things in a perfect way, which is, you'll see like with Ian, with Fred, even though Fred was from Tom, but you could see that with a coach that can like teach you how to do great basics, you can see that you'll have a lot more success in Future Stars. So when I went to Levon, I was, you know, starting to inch towards that Future Stars national team, which was completely out of reach beforehand. So I think that Future Stars really played a really big role in terms of, you know, elevating my gymnastics to the next step. And it's not necessarily the program of Future Stars, but really taking the program of Future Stars seriously and being able to get push towards that upper echelon that really progressed my gymnastics to the next level. And then obviously, if you want to make the national team or if you want to make U.S. championships or anything like that, you still need to do tech sequences, which is extremely important. So I think that while it might be annoying to train the routines because you're like, oh, this is too easy, this is dumb, it is really helpful.
What is the single most exciting routine or big pressure routine that you hit either in prep or competition that stands out to you?
At the most recent Elite Team Cup, my floor routine was extremely exciting. I mean, I was last up on floor, so that was pretty exciting, and that was already like some pressure being built in and of itself. And, you know, I'd been tumbling on the floor. I felt pretty good about it, and I didn't really feel any nerves at all because I was like, I know how to do this routine. I've done it for 8 to 10 months now. This is something that I can hit well. I'm trying to stick every pass, and, you know, when you're trying to execute that well, you just get in the zone. And I stuck like for 3 out of 5 passes, maybe like a 110 pop on the others. Got the triple full stick at the end, and I was just like pure elation. I was screaming. I was on my feet. You know, the boys were hyping me up in the back, and it's like a feeling like that. It's like you can't compare that to anything, really. Shout out to my mom and dad for driving me to practice and buying me a pommel horse over this quarantine. And shout out to you, Dan. Shout out to Region 6. You know, the family. You know, we're all pushing, we're all grinding to get better, and obviously it's working because Region 6, #2 right now. Hopefully #1 soon.
All right, my dog. I appreciate everything. I appreciate your help tonight and your time, and these guys really appreciate you being on. So, my man, keep repping that 6 for 6, yeah?